5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You blitz all night. And if they cross the line of scrimmage, I'm going to take every last one of you out.
Hey, the blitz is coming, boys.
What's going on? Welcome back to The Blitz. I'm your host, William Spencer, and this show is designed to provide our viewers with the latest and greatest in news, tips, tricks, and advice to get you ready for your fantasy football season in just 5 minutes or less. Aaron Rodgers has finally signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And now that he's locked in with the team, in this episode, we'll discuss Aaron Rodgers' fantasy impact on the Steelers this coming season. Now, make no mistake, this isn't one of those, you should draft Aaron Rodgers late kind of episodes. But before we jump into the show, make sure that you're following the Fantasy's Finest YouTube channel for the latest episodes of The Blitz. And you can also find The Blitz in audio format on your favorite podcast platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And make sure to like, share, and comment on the podcast episode, as it not only helps us understand what you like, but also contributes to the channel's growth through the algorithms. But let's take a look at what Aaron Rodgers can bring to the Steelers this year for fantasy football. Now, Rodgers signed with the Steelers on a 1-year, $13 million contract, so his stint is only for the 2025 season. For now. But his impact can still be felt despite his advanced age. Old man Rodgers will be 42 years old this season, and his mobility just isn't what it used to be. That could also be attributed to his Achilles injuries that was holding him back, but I won't make excuses for him. Now, 2 years removed from the injury, Rodgers is still throwing the ball, and he's looking to sling it as much as possible. But he'll have to improve on his last outing. With the New York Jets, Rodgers threw for nearly 3,900 yards, which puts him at 8th in passing yards among quarterbacks last season. Rodgers also tossed in 28 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. Now, on the surface, these do look like good numbers, especially for somebody his age. But on the other hand, his fantasy production was decent at best, but not what we've been accustomed to getting from him over the years. Rodgers averaged 15.1 fantasy points per game and finished as the QB 15 last season. In terms of fantasy points per game, Rodgers finished as the QB 22. It's hard to consider Rodgers anything more than a QB2 in redraft formats at this point in his career, even with the Steelers. While he won't be a target in redraft leagues outside of being a backup or maybe a bye week QB, he might make a decent passing option in Superflex leagues. Rodgers should be an upgrade over Will Howard and Mason Rudolph and should improve DK Metcalf's fantasy value this season. Metcalf will look to improve as he finished outside of the top 25 among fantasy wide receivers last season. With Aaron Rodgers now with the Steelers, Metcalf will see a large target share as the Steelers' top pass catcher. Another nugget that works in favor of DK Metcalf this season is the frequency in which Rodgers targets his receivers on the first read. Last season, Aaron Rodgers targeted his first read at 68% of the time, which ranks him 13th among quarterbacks. Arthur Smith's offense also loves the vertical throw, which will benefit Metcalf's size and speed as he finished 5th among wide receivers in receiving yards on vertical throws since 2022, according to Pro Football Focus. Fantasy managers can be more confident in drafting the Steelers' skill players, but let's not get too crazy outside of the staples. Other players on the roster can be picked off the waivers, such as Robert Woods or Calvin Austin. Rodgers himself might be on waivers after the draft is done. Now, the Steelers could also address the lack of a substantial wide receiver too by adding Amari Cooper or Keenan Allen. Both of those guys are still available via free agency. Now, whether you want to roster him or not is totally up to you. But I'm always a proponent of keeping tabs on guys by adding them to the watch list. But Rodgers should be interesting to watch this season to see if he's still got it. But that'll wrap it up for this episode of The Blitz. Make sure that you're subscribed to the Fantasy's Finest on YouTube or Spotify, Apple Podcasts, so you don't miss out on the latest shows. Until next time, I'll see you guys in the next episode.
Yo, come back now, yeah!